It's early morning, mid-August, and I just wanted to show you the tomatoes because I'm getting some really nice tomatoes off my plants. This tomato came from seed that I saved from a volunteer plant last year, and they're pretty big. Last year, they were about 3/4 of the size. The volunteer plant produced tomatoes 3/4 of the size of this one, but they were like perfectly round, ripened up real nice and everything. This year, I'm getting really nice tomatoes, they're ripening up nice. But as I said, they're like 20% larger this year. Let me show you on the vine here. So at the entrance to my garden, I built a trellis here. It's just a simple trellis. And on both sides, I planted tomato plants from the home saved seed that I had last year. And this one is indeed one of the slicing tomato plants. But as I mentioned previously, this looks like a Roma. I don't know why. I know I labeled them properly, but apparently not. But even so, this is starting to produce some nice tomatoes. But it's like the plant's getting pretty tall. It's almost 6 feet tall now, which is a little big for Romas, isn't it? I always thought they grew to like 4 foot, maybe 5 foot. But this one's almost 6 feet tall. And it grows like a vining tomato, but it's putting out Roma tomatoes. And I've also noticed the stalks are really thick on this and not wimpy at all. So the health of the plant is doing really good. It's got some nice dark green leaves on it. No issues with the plant. And it's continuing to put out new buds and new tomatoes. So this one plant should actually produce a lot of tomatoes for me. Like I said, it's supposed to be one of the slicing tomatoes, like this one, which is now really putting on a lot of fruit. I've actually harvested a bunch off of this plant, and this branch looks like it's gonna end up breaking soon. Got another one down here that's almost to ripe, but this is what the tomatoes typically look like. A little bit smaller than the one I showed at the beginning. Just looks like it has a little sun scald on it here. But this one is growing like a bush. So this is supposed to be a vining type producing these kind of tomatoes. And last year on the volunteer, it had grown to about 8 feet tall or so. This year, it's growing more like a bush, while the Roma is growing like a vine and putting out Roma tomatoes. Yeah, don't ask me, I don't know what the heck's going on here. But I'm happy with the production on it because it's getting some nice tomatoes. Now this tomato that I showed you before, this actually came down from the Victory Garden. I had a number of plants die back down there. So I had a whole bunch of Romas left over and I transplanted them. So apparently one was one of these slicing tomatoes. But again, it's growing not like a vine, it's growing like a shrub. So it's got a bunch of nice tomatoes on it down there. And I've been bringing them home, making sauce and freezing it for when I get all the tomatoes in. Then I'm gonna put it into one big pot, heat it up, and then can it up. Yeah, it's not quite the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to can it right after you get done making it. But I take it from the pot to the freezer and freeze it there in gallon-sized bags. And then that way it allows me to just continuously process the tomatoes when they come in. But I'm very happy with the tomato harvest this year too. It's going quite well. So in addition to my corn harvest that I had, that was a big success. And I've gotten dozens and dozens of ears off. There was a ton of ears in there that I didn't realize. Got a big harvest with that. doing really good with the Romas and the couple of slicers that I made, because we really don't eat too many tomatoes here. Occasionally put it in a salad or in on a sandwich, but we don't eat a lot of tomatoes, which is why I only planted like 1 or 2 of these slicing tomato, this home saved seed, but they're doing quite well. Since we're talking tomatoes, I'll show you my new volunteer. This is the grape or cherry tomato volunteer that sprouted that I didn't have the heart to cut down. So it got up to the trellis, which is about 8 feet tall or so, and I topped it off. Looks like I have to top it again. And it's been producing a nice little harvest of tomatoes. I got a couple more over here that look like they can be picked. When I pick my tomatoes, I actually like to get them just a little underripe and then let them ripen inside. I've heard if you just take them off when they have the first blush of orange on them, even that's like too much. If they just start getting the first blush of orange, you pick them then. I haven't had the courage to do that just yet. So I wait till they get a little bit further along in the process, and then I pick them. And these have been pretty good too, so I just might save some seeds from this and use this as my cherry tomato supply. Because as I said, we don't eat too many tomatoes here, but I usually take these and I throw them in my salads every day and eat a couple. The big slicers, like I said, we use on burgers and sandwiches and stuff. So tomatoes have been another winning crop for me this year. That's probably not surprising for many, since tomatoes are pretty easy to grow and propagate and harvest from. But it's nice that my home save seed is working and producing a lot of tomatoes for me. So if you want to see what we were doing in the garden last week, check out this video right here, and then subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you'll be able to follow along in the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Okay, thanks for watching.